We've lost Warren.
Hi, everybody. There's a couple of technical issues. We're waiting for our star in the preview. Here he is. Oh, look at that lovely shirt. Listen,
That's a nice shirt.
Chatting with Campbell. Chatting with Campbell, number 4. We're back. Lead judges, Dan Potts, and the irrepressible Warren Barton. How are you guys?
I'm all good, my friend.
All good.
I got dressed up for you, Kev. I got dressed up for you.
Are the guys giving you a bit of stick, are they, Warren?
Well, there's just one particular fella, and to be fair, with his clubber, I'm not.
He's just coming from a night out, Kev, isn't he? He must have.
Right, is he?
Lee just got dressed in. Lee got dressed in the dark.
Listen, great banter. So this is the preview for Norwich, right? And as far as I'm concerned, we know it's a must-win game. So I'll tell you what, Lee, I'm going to go to Warren first.
Yeah.
Because, Warren, the way Arsenal have started the season has been really poor. What's your thoughts on the Norwich game now and moving forward? Because things have to change, don't they?
Oh, there's no doubt, Kev. Watching the Brentford game, which, I mean, you know, Kev, it was always going to be a tough game, but in the manner that the way Arsenal lost was the alarm bells was going straight away. And I know it's only the first game, but it was a carry on from last season. Even with the money that they spent, a couple of new players, and obviously they've reinvested more. The Chelsea performance, you know, you can always say Chelsea are going to be one of the favourites, but if you're going to gauge yourself against top teams, you want to perform better. And then what was really alarming for me was, listen, Man City can do that to anybody, Kev. They can put anyone to the sword, but it was the manner how easy Arsenal went down and how the lack of, not necessarily fight, but like desire, pride. Because I think the team's gone past fight. They can't fight. They're not that team. But to play with any pride. So, you know, we're only, 4 games in, you've had an international break, and it is a must-win game. And not only a must-win, I think they've got to score goals. I think they've got to, for their own belief, you know, a 1-0 against Norwich is not really going to hide a lot of cracks. And with all due respect to Norwich, if you don't beat them at home in the situation that Arsenal are in, I think he would have to go. I don't think he'd walk. I think he would have to go from the top downwards, you know, the Arteta and things, because he's had enough time to plan. And I've seen all the interviews about the long-term idea of buying players. He ain't got a long-term, in my opinion. He had a little bit of a leeway with the FA Cup, but the fans are not happy. The performances have not been good. It's not the Arsenal that we expect. And Jamie said it as well. Jamie Carragher said it, is that, unfortunately, this is what you expect with Arsenal at the moment. And they've got to get out of that. You can't be that. That's what we expect. You've got to get out of it. So it's a massive, massive game. But I do believe Arsenal will win the game and win the game quite comfortably.
Yeah, that was a really good point there. I'm going to go to Dan Lee first, because Warren made a good point about it's what people are expecting from Arsenal right now. We've never been that club, really, have we? And the quicker we get out of that, Dan, the better. What's your thoughts on the Norwich game, and do you have any fears about the game, Dan?
I have a fear about every game in the moment with this Arsenal side, Kev, because I don't think that we are playing well enough, no matter who the competition are. So it doesn't bother me that it's Norwich or if it's Man City. The way that we're playing is dangerous against any side, because I can probably name you on paper 3 teams that are worse than Arsenal, but I can't tell you 3 teams that are playing worse than Arsenal at the moment. So that means at the moment, no matter if you think long-term or look long-term, I look at the now, the table does not lie. We are in a relegation battle right now because Norwich City are the ones above us that we need to beat, and we've got them on Saturday. So it's a must-win game for me. But I look at things long-term, that people say to me, look at things long-term. If I'm looking at things long-term, I think it's a matter of when this manager gets sacked, not if. Because the way that we've seen things in the last 20 months, it's not been progress. I've seen nothing to change my mind on that or say, do you know what, Dan, don't be harsh on the manager, give him time. I think it's a matter of when this guy goes. I don't really see the transfers or the transfer window making a huge difference to this Norwich game. But I do think that there's no more excuses. And the reason I say that, Casey, is not just because he's been given 20 months. We now have a pretty much fully fit side to pick from. And I think that's the big positive going into this game and why we need to take 3 points.
Yeah. Lee, what's your thoughts on who's going to play? Because Dan made a really good point. There's no more excuses. The injuries are fit. They've been training, so they're there to be picked from.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing now. I think that the injuries and that. Listen, I think you can make excuses if you want for him that he's had injuries. We've had Chelsea, we've had Manchester City, but now all those excuses are gone. Now he's got all these players. But the back four, I think, which should start on Saturday, is nothing to do with Arsene Wenger, nothing to do with Emery. It's all of his players. The new boy, Tomasi is his name, or Tomasi?
Tomato, is that tomato? Tomato, is it tomato?
It's tomato, depending where you are.
Tommy Arsu, yeah, Tommy Arsu.
Yeah, look, man, it's that shirt. It's making me go dizzy, Kev. Look, I said I can't even get my glasses on there.
Don't blame it on me if you can't read. It's not my fault. You can't read.
I think we obviously got like the Japanese fella Tommy to come
Double T. Call him Double T, Lee.
Double T. He's coming in at right back. Well, I think he should come in at right back. I think that Gabriel and White are going to be the two central defenders, and Tierney at left back. That's his back four now, and that's what he's got. No excuses. I think that you can argue about Leno and Ramsdale. If Leno's not signed a contract, you can bring in Ramsdale. It'd be very interesting who he's going to bring out of them two. But whoever he puts in, they're decent enough goalkeepers. Midfield has got to be Latonga and Party. It's got to be them two.
Lakonga, not Latonga.
Lakonga.
What is wrong with you? Is it that shirt?
I've been on the lash today, lads. So can't help. We've been on the lash. So anyway, them two have got to start. I think Elneny's injured now, isn't he?
Just do it. Just do numbers. It'd be easier. Just do numbers.
I don't believe it. I don't even know what number he is. Like, 17 is he? 17, I think. But Party and Lakonga. Sorry, I said Latonga. When did I get that from? I think I've been watching the tennis.
Oh my God! Right, as the midfield pair, yeah.
They've got to play because I think Elneny's injured now, and he was saying someone says he's got an hamstring injury, so it's got to be them two. And then I think the problem that he's got, I don't know how you guys think about it. I think that if we sat here now, we could probably write down the team and get that first bit right. It's the top four. I think that's where he's got to really make some decisions. I think because it's going to whether you're going to go with Aubameyang up top or Lacazette, Aubameyang on the left. You've got Pepe, Smith Rowe, Odegaard. I think there's going to a few decisions there for him to go into. But what he's got to do, I don't know everybody. I think he's got to go with a team, get this result, and stick with his team. Not keep chopping and changing it. Go with it 5-6 games. Believe in the team that he's got. And I don't think like 1 or 2 games is going to get him any respite from the fans. I think that he's got to beat, as Warren said, we've got to beat Norwich. We've got to beat them really well. Then we've got to beat Burnley, which is going to be a tough game, and then we must beat Spurs. But then we've got Crystal Palace and Brighton, I think, in the next 2 games like that. And we've got to be looking at winning all of those games. Now, if he can't do that, in my opinion, you shouldn't be manager of Arsenal. I think that's very, very important. So I think it's a massive, massive month for him this month, I have to say.
Warren, I want to come to you on the next point because as far as I'm concerned, I look at this Arsenal team and you do have some experience. You've got Aubameyang and Lacazette, really, they should be starting. As Lee said, he's not sure about the top end of the pitch. Them two should be starting because they're your most experienced players at the top end of the pitch. What do you think about them two starting, or would you play Aubameyang down the middle and leave Lacazette out?
No, I would play both. I think Lacazette, but as a typical striker, they need their arm around them. They need to be told how good they are, how special they are to the team. Aubameyang can play on that left-hand side. He's more than able to do that. He likes to drift in that area as well. Pepe performance against West Brom. I thought he did okay, but there's that doubt about him. So is it that type of mindset going for him? But I would definitely play with them two strikers. Now, whether you play with just two up front or whether you play with one up down the middle and one on the left-hand side and one to the right, players are three. But I do agree. I think the times of chopping and changing and trying to be too clever have gone. He's got to now win games. He's got to be successful. And we all know, if they end up the games that you said, Lee, if they end up getting 4 wins on the spin, all of a sudden the confidence comes back, the belief comes back, and you can change it around. And he's got to get his players to believe in it. But I would play in this situation at the moment. I would go with my experienced players and sort of say to them, you sort it out, you deal with it. We're going to put faith in you. We're going to play with you. And if you don't run around, the fans are going to see it's you, because that's you. You're the one out there wearing the shirt and playing. So I would look at them too and say they're good enough to give Norwich all sorts of problems with their pace. Lacazette reminds me of Martial a little bit. When he's hot, but when he's not, he's a bit of a liability. But at the moment, Arteta can't really afford to pick and choose. He's got to go out and win the game. And with that firepower, you'd expect him to go forward and be successful. So, just touch on Arteta as well. You said 20 months. I don't see Arsenal being a better team than when he took over. And they wasn't particularly a good team then. You know what I mean? So that's where we're judging it, Lee. It's not necessarily his signings, his tactics. It's saying, has the team improved in 20 months? The 20 months in the Premier League is quite a long time. It's a long time to have your stamp on a team. And I don't think this team's any better than what we've seen. Maybe on paper you may say, well, they've got this player in, that player in, but I don't really see that at the moment. But it's a big time. But Kev, it's like with you and Righty. I'd say used to get on with it. Used to work up front. You're going to be our best line of defence. You're going to put them under pressure. We're going to squeeze on top, and then we're relying used to win us the game, and then the rest of you should follow.
Dan, that's a good point Warren made, but do we have the personnel and the right attitude to do that? Because
that's
Norwich
what worries me, Kev.
Yeah,
that's what worries me about them too. I think they're very good players. I know new players, and it's a new generation and everything else. But I don't know whether they've got it up. I don't know whether they really want to be successful at Arsenal. I don't know whether Arsenal means as much to them. And it's easy to say it on social media, but I don't know whether it really means that much for them to be successful. That's for me. I look at when we had our tough time with Ruud Gullit and with Ruud Gullit at Newcastle, and it wasn't going well. But I looked around when Bobby come in. We had Gary Speed, Shearer, Rob Lee, Shay Given. We wanted to turn it around. We wanted to make it better. And okay, it took us 2 years to do it, but we was back in the Champions League. We was back competing because we wanted to do it. We didn't need fucking Ruud Gullit. Get him out.
To tell you anything, yeah.
No, it was, we wanted to do it for the fans and the club and for us. And then obviously me and Rob, we moved on. We went off to Derby and the rest was history. Kieran, Bellamy, they went off and had a successful 2 or 3 years with Bobby. So, but I don't know whether them two have got the same mindset of a Bergkamp. Well, they're not the same quality, nowhere near, but as a Bergkamp and an Henry. I know it's a hard avenue, but that's your benchmark at Arsenal. That's your benchmark. But they're a million,
100%. And that's why I want to spin it to Dan, because talent is one thing. Warren knows this. Having talent everyone's talented at different levels in the Premier League, but is the attitude in our squad and team right? The thing is, because Norwich are going to come there and fancy it, Dan.
Of course they are. We all know what Norwich are going to do. Norwich play a very, very nice, attractive style of football, and Daniel Farke deserves a lot of respect because he's not changed his style. He's kept his philosophy. Warren's made some unbelievable names there. We haven't got leaders like that in this side. We haven't got the mentality like that. You think of people like Rob Lee, the experience of Shearer, Gary Speed, what a legend, Shay Given. These are experienced players that Arsenal just have not got, and I think that we have lacked that in the transfer windows of the last few that we've looked at, because we've gone for this implemented a young model of under 23s, which is great. They're all highly rated. They're all great potential. But where you need to actually allow that to be successful is the likes of the Thomas Parties, the Aubameyangs, the Lacazettes around them just not being that good. So we need to actually have the leaders in that side, and I just don't believe that we have that. I think some of the culture's been removed. I think some of the mentality that we lacked has been sold or has left. But we certainly do lack experience and leadership in this. Kev, we got some super chats that I've got to read out in a minute.
But I've just got a quick thing for Kev, because Kev's in. Yeah, not necessarily. I'm not saying about that level of players. You know, and you mentioned Gary and Dennis Bergkamp and all them guys. But I tell you what, there was players that was good professionals. So if I'm scouting someone and going around, the first thing I look at them, are they going to be good people and good players? Are they going to be able to handle? Because like Kevin said, everybody's talented, but you could tell by Pepe's body language that he ain't going to be able to handle it. He ain't going to be able to handle being the number one at Arsenal. He might be the third or fourth, and then he'll join in and be part of it. All of them people that you've described were not only good characters and obviously leaders, but they was good people. So when the chips was down, and I would go and watch players when they're not winning and see how they perform. Yeah. So it goes back to the recruitment of what you're doing as well. When you go and see someone in the best team, in the poor league, in the best team winning, we could all still be playing. Let's go and see a good player when he's up against it, when he's finding it difficult. That's when I think you look at where Arsenal are, Newcastle, and these type of clubs that need them type of players. The leaders, like you've just mentioned, I don't think you have a lot of young leaders at the moment. You know, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt too much, but that's I just feel that.
No, I think it's a great point. Great point.
So Lee, I wanted to spin it round to you. Dan, have you finished, or do you need to? I've
got to bring these super chats in because I'm going to lose them otherwise, Casey. Okay. So let me just jump in with this. Jamal, absolute legend. Thank you so much. A warm welcome to the show, Warren. And Jamal has given an unbelievable donation, very, very kind donation from Jamal. Love you, Dan, Lee, Casey, and warm welcome to the show. Casey, why did Arteta play Kolasinac as a centre-back instead of Kieran Tierney as a left centre-back at City? And why didn't Tavares play as a left wing-back? Why was Lokonga dropped, the best midfielder in the first 2 games for City? I asked Harry Symeou the same question. I'm not any clearer. Don't ask Harry Symeou is my point, because I'm joking. I love Harry really.
For me,
did Harry dodge it? Did he?
I
bet he did.
Here's
before you come in there, Casey, Jamal's just said, just to let you know, I'm a Chelsea fan as well. I'm not an Arsenal fan. Jamal, thank you so much for your kind donation to the show, man. It's much appreciated. Casey, over to you.
Yeah, I think he played Kolasinac as the left centre back. Because Kolasinac played at West Bromwich Albion. He played that position at West Brom. He done okay there. And I think he wanted to go to Man City and try and cause Man City a problem by having one holding midfielder and more players in attacking positions. That's what I believe. I think Kieran Tierney gives us a lot more on the left-hand side. He's experienced. He can trust him going forward. Whereas Tavares, he's a good player, but we don't know enough about him yet. That's my thinking of why he done that. And as for Lokonga, I just think that he wanted to make sure he got Odegaard on the pitch, Smith-Rowe on the pitch, Saka, Aubameyang, all the big hitters to cause them a problem on the pitch. And we had to do that. We had to take a risk by having only one midfielder. And he wanted to go with the so-called experience. And for me, Xhaka bailed out because he went and got himself sent off.
I was amazed at Pablo Mari.
That backfired then, didn't it? He got hammered 5-0.
Yeah, exactly. It backfired massively. I was amazed that Tierney, Tavares, Pablo Mari and Holding weren't the kind of along with the right back there. I was amazed by that. Talking of right backs, Casey, we just got one more. Brady Banana, a bit early to play Tommy Tomato, but I guess better now than having his debut away to Burnley. What do you make of this signing, Casey? I'd love to get your opinion on that. Do you know much about this guy?
Well, I've done quite a little bit of research on him since we've signed him.
Do you know his name?
I know it's not Tommy Tomato. I know that, like judges. One thing I will say, Dan, and Warren could interject on this as he's obviously a defender. Arsenal's problem has been we haven't had a right back who can defend. We've had plenty of right backs who go there and he puts a decent cross in there or he's better going forward than he is defending. number one thing, you got to be able to defend. Tommy Arsenal can defend. He's a good passer of the ball and he can defend. For me, that's great. That could lock up the right-hand side of our defence. Anything, if you get more than that, for me, it's a bonus. Because the way Arsenal play, especially with a Pepe on the outside, you have to supply Pepe or a Saka, give them the ball and let them do what they've got to do. At times, of course, you can get by them, but a lot of the time, you've got to feed them. I think it's a really good signing, Dan, to be honest with you. I do.
Yeah, I think we needed that position covered. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously, his work permit's sorted now, so hopefully he starts against Norwich because I want to see these new players. I want to see this team, like Edu has said. Now, we want to see the team together. No more excuses. The team is now fit. Let's see what we get.
Lee, do you think the team would start to take shape on Saturday? It is Norwich, and we're at home. Do you think the team would start to take shape?
I think it's got to, Warren made a great point. It's 20 months into the process now. It hasn't improved. We've got to, as a fan, when you go to the game, you want to see some sort of progress. You want, we're spending your money like for 20 months. All right, we haven't because of the pandemic, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're spending your money to go and watch them and you want to see some improvement. You want to see some hope. And do you know what I honestly think with the Arsenal team at the moment? I've lost hope with it. Like, I really do. I don't know what I'm going to get. Like for the game against City, I knew we was going to lose. You know what I mean? I knew we was going to lose. That's why I didn't go. That was my birthday. I knew we was going to lose, so I just didn't. I didn't go.
Couldn't be bothered. Yeah.
And that's a bad thing for me to say, But so the club and the team and the players need to regenerate, make me want to believe it again, and I think the way they've got to do that is go out against Norwich. What I expect from the game against Norwich, and I'm going to say it now, us to be 2-3-0 up within 20 minutes. I expect us to blast them away like Arsenal did in the old days, like what good teams do. And I expect Arsenal, I expect, I say that's the wrong thing. What I want to see Arsenal do now is go on 5-6 games, winning games. And
you want to run?
A good run, and then start getting me. I'm fed up with us being a laughing stock. We're a laughing stock of football at the moment. You know what I mean? Like you pick up your phone, and I've got Spurs fans texting me stupid messages and things like that. You know what I mean about Arsenal. And it's ridiculous. I want to be proud of my team. I want to be. I've always been proud of being an Arsenal fan. You know what I mean? Going back from the days, even going back when we weren't great in the 80s and all that, we had superstar players all the way through. Liam Brady, Charlie Nicholas. We've had all the players come through. David Rocastle, like yourself, Ian Wright, gone through to the Bergkamp and all that. And now we're a laughing stock. And that they took Highbury away from us for us to become the laughing stock. Get a grip, get yourself sorted out, and make sure we get back on the way. And the way to do that is start winning games of football. I don't care. Mikel Arteta can win fans around. He can. At the minute, he's lost the fans. And a 1-0 scrappy win against Norwich is not going to do it. I'll be honest, a 3-0, 4-0 win against Norwich is not going to do it. But I'll tell you what, it's a start. And if he can win 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Obviously, there's a documentary on at the moment on BBC One and there about the Premier League. In the early 90s, and you'll remember this, guys, Alex Ferguson was getting it big time. Absolutely big time, right? How did he turn it around? Right, he brought in a couple of players, but he won games of football. You know what I mean? Like that's what he done. It's not rocket science. He didn't blag it around in that, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, look what happened.
And so don't forget, Lee, they wanted him out.
They wanted him
out.
The
fans wanted him out.
100%. You know what I mean? But he turned them around.
Stuck at it.
Because he got results. So Mikel Arteta can turn this around, but he's got to get on a run of results now. He's got to win games of football.
I think when you look at Fergie as well, Fergie had this idea of what United was going to be, and then he realised, you know what, I'm just going to win games. Arteta has this fantasy of what he thinks Arsenal should be. Just get Arsenal winning. You just said it, Lee, about how you feel about Arsenal. I have the same conversation with 52,000 Geordies about how there's this heart and going to the stadium. There's no real excitement about when you're
passion.
walking
There's
in.
no passion in there.
No,
yeah.
you know, normally you go to a pub first, you're starting, who's going to play, who we're going to be, how many we're going to win. There's none of that. You sort of go to the stadium, you sort of, oh, that's it, we've lost, we'll walk out of there. You've got an obligation when you play for a club like Newcastle, Arsenal, to win games. So Arteta has really got to put that philosophy out the way at the moment. And like you said, to get people to believe in what Arsenal can be, to believe in what they're doing. All this BS about, changing players and formation and tactics. It's about you're in the business of winning fucking football games. That's bottom line. That's don't give me all this twaddle about this style of football and reinventing the game. Fucking win. That's what you're paid to do. And that's
Winning
what
cures all.
Exactly.
Winning cures all.
When we was the entertainers, sometimes we'd win a game 1-0 and we'd get booed off, but we won the game. Kev, you know that.
You don't care.
You win a game.
You care. You want to win. Listen, if you could go out and win 5-0 every week, you do it. But the fact of the matter is, winning is infectious. The fans love it. The players love it even more. Because you know what? There's nothing better than going out of the ground with 3 points in your back pocket. Is there?
No, it's just the greatest thing, isn't it? It's the greatest thing. That's what it's all about.
If we don't get 3 points on Saturday, why would that be? Would it be because the team hasn't performed? Because it is Norwich at home.
If we don't get a result at the weekend, then the manager has to go. It's simple.
No, I get that. I get that 100%. But I'm saying, if we don't get it, would it be because the team haven't performed, or would it be because Norwich have bullied us?
I don't think that Norwich are a team that will bully us. I think Brentford and Chelsea did that 100%. I think Norwich will come and play. The reason that we will lose the game is because the manager is not getting the best out of these players. That is black and white for me.
Because on the names, you put names against names. Arsenal got far, far superior names than Norwich. So if you lose the game, it's because the manager is not getting the best out of his players. And if you end up losing to Norwich, then he has to take full responsibility. Like he said, he spent the money. He's had
Warren, the buck stops with the manager. Full stop.
Yeah,
but
let's.
Here's my point.
Listen, when you had Troy Deeney say to you, when you had Troy Deeney
Norwich at home,
Arsenal,
you play Norwich at home, Warren.
Yeah,
you play Norwich at home. You've got to win.
Yeah.
As a player,
yeah.
Wherever the manager says, you've got to win.
But going back to what you said, how many people you got in that change room that want to win for Arsenal, or want to even win for themselves? When you had Troy Deeney 3 years ago, said, Troy Deeney, with all due respect, a decent player, but it's Troy Deeney, saying that I can bully Arsenal. Do me a favour.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
I can bully Arsenal. I mean, if you don't take that personal as a player, then you shouldn't be playing for Arsenal.
You shouldn't be playing for the Arsenal.
It's not just Troy Deeney, is it?
No,
we've seen Lukaku, we've seen Ivan Toney. They've all bullied us. So we've seen Man City that didn't have to do anything against us. They just had to turn up. All they had to do was turn up. So we now need to ensure that we take 3 points. And I don't care how we do it, but we need to take 3 points. Yes, I'd like to see attractive style of football. Ain't going to happen. Yeah, under this manager. Ain't going to happen. I've not seen it in 20 months, so it'll be a miracle if I see it at the weekend. But there's no reason why we can't beat Norwich, because like Warren says, and I stand by this, on paper, the team that's fit is a good enough team to fight for the European places. It's better on paper than the West Hams, than the Evertons, than the Villas, than the Leeds, than the Wolves. On paper, as a team, it's not as good as them. So that stops with a manager as far as I'm concerned. So that's the way I see it, Casey.
Yeah. I know where Cave's coming from. As a player, you could say to him, get out of the room, we'll sort this out. But I don't think you've got enough of that in Arsenal changing room.
Nah, not
and Warren, but my point is this. If we're saying there's no excuses, we've got all the players now, they're ready, then it don't matter what formation you pick, it don't matter who you pick, they've got to go out and get the job done. And that's my point to you, Lee. It's get the job done time now for Arsenal, isn't it? There's no more messing around.
And I don't want no excuses. You know what I mean? Like, listen, he's going to pick this team on. I really, honestly, going to say, I know this is a stupid thing probably to say. Like, he's picking a team, and basically the team that he picks is the team that's saving him his job or keeping him in a job. Because if it fails, right? If it fails, and I mean even a draw. If it does not beat them,
no draws.
I honestly, I don't want it. He can't come back. And the biggest supporters of Mikel Arteta will have to say, hold their hands up and say that is not acceptable. And it's not. After 4 games, Arsenal can't be bottom of the league. It's as simple as that. Now, yes, we've had things go against us. We've had a couple of decisions go against us. We've had this and we've had that. No, it's a clean slate. You've got Norwich at home. And I'm saying this now, I said this yesterday. After the run of games you've got any international break, right, you can pick 3 teams that you want to play in the next three games. Like, one of them would be Norwich at home. You'd say, I'll take Norwich at home. I think I'll go through the whole lot of that Premier League. You might want to take Newcastle, no disrespect at the moment because of the way things are going for them. But ultimately, you'd get sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Another little dig. He's terrible today.
You know what I mean? Like, we can go on to Newcastle. I feel a little bit sorry for Newcastle, you know what I mean? But ultimately, listen, I tell you, but I'm going to say I wouldn't take Newcastle now. Do you know why I wouldn't take Newcastle now? Because they've got a certain Willock there. And he'd come back and bite us up the backside. So I'm saying that I'm looking at all those teams. Norwich is the one that I'm going to go for. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At the Emirates. So I don't think there's any other. So for me, it's the perfect opportunity. I don't think you can get a better game after what's gone on. And if he fails that, I'm sorry. I don't care. Like,
no excuses.
5 o'clock on Saturday, he's either walked, which Warren says he's not going to do, or more importantly, the board say that's enough. Because we cannot, if you cannot beat Norwich at home, you're not going to go to Burnley and win. You're not going to beat Spurs, and you're certainly not going to go other teams and all that. Like, and I'm sorry, it's do or die for him now. Like, and it's down to him.
So true. And
Lee,
do you know what, Kev?
Go on, Dan.
Just got to come in here because we've got 3 super chats, so we're going to miss.
Come on, let's deal with the super chats. Go on.
They're highlighted for you, Kev.
So. Come on.
Yeah, we got to get Warren a new shirt, so we're going to get him in. Kev, we're going to come to you because there's 2 of the questions are for you. Fred Red, 50, has said the entitlement of the Arsenal fan base needs to change. It's like Wolves fans still stuck in the late 1950s. All clubs have cycles of mediocrity. 100% agree with you, Fred Red. Unfortunately, our time at the moment is not at the top. But these 2, Kev, are both for you. Jamal, again, amazing donation. Thank you so much, Jamal. Casey,
he wants you, Kev. He wants you.
Casey saying, I'm challenging you in a respectful manner. Arteta is approaching 2 years. He's been backed, has his own players now. So what excuses does Arteta have left? Arteta doesn't know his best 11, keeps changing his right back, and he has destroyed Kieran Tierney, Aubameyang, Partey, etc. So what do you make of that, Casey?
I think, like we said, from this moment forward, he's spent a lot of money. Yes, he has 150 million. And all of those players haven't been available. So this international break came at the right time for Arsenal, if I'm honest with you. So now he gets Partey back. Now he gets Gabriel back. Ben White recovers from COVID. He's back. We're going to see a new midfield, hopefully, of Partey and Lokonga. Tomiyasu, the Japanese international, can come in, which has been a big problem for us on the right-hand side. Now it's his back 4, his central midfield, and we're going to go for... So now we're going to see. This is the key. We're going to see what his team could do now. And that's all it is.
And if it don't go well, this next super chat, the last one, will come well in for you, Casey. It's for a kind donation from Zane. Kev, if we sack Arteta, who do you want as a manager, as a replacement? We have no backbone. It's pathetic.
Well, I wanted Allegri when Arsene Wenger left. Then when Emery left, I wanted Allegri. And now he's no longer available. I'll be honest with you. You can
Conte.
name any
I'd go with Conte.
100%.
If you go and get Conte, Conte wants to be backed. Because one thing I do know about Conte, players will end up getting punched in the dressing room.
It's not a bad thing.
Good.
Whether
Some of them
him
need it.
or Mancini, if you get Mancini, because I like Mancini as well. I like what
Kev,
he's done
I'll
with Italy.
I'll ask you a question then, Kev.
No, you don't ask me nothing yet, Warren. Let me finish this. So, I want managers that have a bit of toughness about them, with respect, who are winners, and these two are winners. So
Can I ask a
Conte,
question?
Mancini, they're my two. I'd go for one of them. Go on.
I can't argue that.
If Conte walked in the room, do you think he'd make this Arsenal team a better team?
Of course he would.
As it is now. As it is
Yeah.
now. Potentially, yes. But we won't know that until he comes in. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Arteta's got his chance now. It's his team now. He's got his right back, he's got his centre back, he's got Gabriel, and he's got Tierney now. So let's see what, and he's got his two midfield. Let's see what
I'm
happens.
asking the question now, Kev. I'm asking the question. Take
Oh, hey,
over.
you haven't put the super chat in. So you haven't put the super chat in. You haven't put the super chat in. So let Dan finish. Get out of it, judges. It's time with Campbell.
I'm asking the question. If he loses, you're in charge. If he loses to Norwich, are you sacking him?
No, I'm not. There you go.
What?
I'm not.
No, fair enough. That's fair enough.
I'm not. No chance.
Why is that?
One
Kev?
game with his team. One game. No, I'm not. I know many will, but I'm not.
What does he have to do? What does he have to do for you to decide this is enough now?
For me, it's the next 3 games is going to determine whether Mikel Arteta is Arsenal manager or not. The next 3
So if he
games.
loses to Burnley and Spurs as well, that's it.
Well, he's gone. But I think just by one game, no, I don't think. They've bypassed more experienced managers to put him in. So they're going to give him the opportunity of the next 3 games, I believe. But
Sophie's in here having a go at you now. I love it.
who is?
Sophie's having it.
Sophie's
Yeah.
in here like that.
Sophie, listen, Sophie could have a go. All I'm saying is, I've said this before, I've said it 2 weeks ago, and I'll say it again today. The next 3 games is going to determine whether
That's
Mikel
fair
Arteta
enough.
is Arsenal manager.
I can see where you're coming from in there, but for me, it's one game. Warren, what about you?
No, you don't beat Norwich at home and you don't score a goal, you're out. It's as simple as that. Yeah, and I know what Kev's saying. You need to have more. That Arsenal team, whether he's got everybody fit, everybody on the training field, or whatever, you're in a situation you can't win this game. You can't get your players motivated for this game. If you care that much about Arsenal and about the future, you have to take a step aside and say, "Listen, maybe this is not for me, and I wish you luck." That's what I would do if I was in his situation. He ain't gonna do that.
He ain't doing it. No chance he's doing that.
Jamal's put another super chat in saying, I knew Kevin would make excuses. What would it take, Kevin?
What excuse?
No, he said it. He said it now. 3
I've
games.
said
No,
it.
he has.
What
He said it.
excuse?
He
I've
said
said it. So
said it.
Jamal, put another super chat in with a better question because I've answered your questions. Come at me, Jamal. Come on then. Come on, Jamal, if you want it. Come on. Come on then if you want it.
Jamal, you've been told.
Go on,
man.
Kev. Take your dicky off, Kev. Let him see it. Take your dicky off.
Listen, I'll deal with him. I'll deal with him with the dicky on. Trust me on that one.
Does it go round? Does it go round?
No, it lights up at night. Don't worry about that. It lights up in the night.
Yeah, I bet you it does.
You turn the light off, it lights up. So Lee, what I want to do, I want to look at a positive. For you, Lee, who's going to be the difference maker at the weekend for Arsenal?
Well, I'd like to say the right back, but I can't say his name, so I'll leave him out of it, So, do you know who I think is going to make? I'd love to. I think Gabriel coming back into the team is a big plus for Arsenal, and I'll tell you why. Because he's big, strong, got pace and recovery, and I think that he will complement Ben White a lot better than the other guys. And I think that I'm a big Gabriel fan. I think that he's got a mistake in him, but he's only young. He's only about 23 now, I think, but I like the strong, powerfulness of him. And I think him coming back is a big key for us. And I know, we all want to see goals, but ultimately I want to see us. I'll be very disappointed. I'm going to say this now. If Arsenal are 4-0 up and they concede, I'll be very, very disappointed. I want to see a clean sheet. I want to see 3-4-0. I don't want to see 4-2 or something like that. I want to see us
pride in the clean sheet. Take pride in the clean sheet.
Proper defensive performance, so that you can think, do you know what? We're going away to Burnley next week when we're going to have to be a bit, and we're going to go from there. I want to see clean sheets. I want to see our defenders. Warren probably would talk about this, more than us. Pride in clean sheets. Get a clean sheet. You know what I mean? Like get the clean sheet. Get the clean sheet. I think then that takes you on to another level as well. So for me, Gabriel coming
Dan,
back.
what about you? Who's your difference maker?
I'm going to look at the other side of the other end of the pitch because we need to score some goals. And I think Bukayo Saka has had a few games now, and I think he's ready. He looked sharp for England the other night. I thought it was exceptional. So I'm going to go for this lad because I think that he's got the opposition there that is suited for him. Depends what side he plays on. I'm a huge fan of Max Aarons at Norwich. I think he's a very good fullback, and I'd like to have seen him in an Arsenal shirt as opposed to Tomiyasu, if I'm honest with you. But I'm going to go Bukayo Saka. Tomiyasu, Tomato, whoever you want to call him.
Bless you. Bless you.
I'm going for bless you. Yeah, bless you. So I'll go for Saka. It was between him and Pepe, Kev. It just depends what he's going to go with his front four. I'm with Lee. I think is he going to play Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, and Pepe? Is he going to play Saka, Pepe, and Smith Rowe? What's he going to do with Aubameyang and Lacazette? We don't know this yet. So I'll go for Bukayo Saka because I think he has to play because I think he's a special talent and I think he could be the match winner and the game changer. So I'm going to be positive and go with Bukayo Saka.
What about you, Warren? Who do you see being a difference maker for the Arsenal?
Aubameyang. He has just got to step up like he did. He got a few goals against West Brom. He's got to step up now. About maybe looking to leave and go somewhere else, start performing. I think he needs now to, if you've got any chance, put the team on his back and go because he's capable. He's a player, but he's got to take responsibility now. So I would put it all on him to lead the line.
And he is captain. That's the other thing.
He's captain. Yeah, he's captain of the football club. He's come out and said things. He's got to back his manager. He's got to back the fans. He's got to back the football club. And to be fair, if he plays, and like you said, the way that Norwich play, they do try and play expensive football. They're going to leave gaps all over the field. If he's one-on-one with someone, he's got to start now being the striker that everybody hoped to. He come in and did well. So him, if it's not him, Lacazette, someone needs to really take the club by the scruff of the neck and go forward. So I hope it would be him.
Well, Warren's taken my player, but I'm going to go for somebody else. I'm going to go for Ødegaard. I don't know if you saw some of his passes the other night. He was brilliant. And I think, we lack that creativity. When you're a striker or when you're Saka, or you rely so much on somebody to be able to give you the ball at the right time, give you the right weight of pass, or just somebody to see the gaps to execute the pass. And I think Ødegaard can really do that. And I really look forward to seeing him play. He had a good international break and him coming back, Norwich at home. At times they might sit deep. I think he could really be the difference maker for Arsenal in what probably Norwich are going to sit deep and try and make life difficult and turn the crowd against Arsenal. And
that's a great question. That's a great thing. How long do you reckon it before the crowd will turn?
Well, normally, Lee, and I'm sure Warren will tell you this, when you're away from home, when you're coming to Arsenal or any of the big teams, what you try and do, you try and frustrate the home team and you say, keep it tight for 20 minutes and don't do anything stupid. So after the initial 20 minutes, if it's 0-0, then you start to a misplaced pass here, then the murmurs start coming in the home team. As a player, then here we go. You want to turn that home crowd as quickly as you can. If you could get a goal up, even better. But what you don't do is, as you said you want Arsenal to be 2-3 goals up in the first 20 minutes. The game's over. Norwich are going to... Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, Lee. That's what you're hoping. Norwich are going to say, what we've got to do, we've got to be in this game and we can't lose it in the first 20. What do you say, Warren?
No, exactly right, Kev. You go away from home and you know what the problems is with Arsenal crowds. You give it 15, 20 minutes. If Arsenal have not created a chance and you've said nice and solid as a back four, a couple of holding midfield players, maybe break a little bit on the counter-attack, the moment, it's music to your ears. If you start hearing the home fans groan, you look at them and you look at the Arsenal players and you think they're going to start, they're petrified now. They're going to start hiding. And you actually, as the away team, grow more and more confident and start causing more and more problems and taking more and more chances. So, Lee, Arsenal got 20 minutes. Even in that 20 minutes, as long as Arsenal are creating chances or corners or shots, that will keep the fans engaged. If it goes where the game gets quiet and stale, then it will start turning. Then it will start going straight away.
I think the sideways football works for Norwich, doesn't it, Warren? Playing sideways across the pitch, Norwich will get back, and we've seen too much of that as it is. But if they can play forward and play between the lines, I think we can cut them. We can really cut them to ribbons. And we really need to get moving, don't we, Lee? Really need to get moving in this game.
Well, that's why I think, like I said it earlier, I think, hopefully we're 2-0 up, you know what I mean? Or by half time, 3-0 up half time. If it's 0-0 at half time, it's a free goal. I think I won't be coming out the second half.
Yeah, just we used to have with Kevin Keegan the saying beforehand is don't disappoint them. When they've come up to St James's Park, whoever the opposition was, we don't disappoint the fans and we don't disappoint the opposition. So we get right on the front foot. We take throw-ins quick. We do everything quick. Everything's put the ball down and play. Give it to Peter. But we used to play relentless for that 20 minutes. And with all due respect against 80% of the teams, we might be 2-0 up by then. And then, like you said, against the likes of at the time would be a Coventry, a Norwich, Bradford, or Watford, or whoever it may be. The game's done and dusted, and even the Evertons and things like that, Man Cities, we get the job over and done in the first 20 minutes, and that's what Kevin would say to us: is that fucking don't disappoint them, don't disappoint our fans, and you don't disappoint the opposition.
What about away from home then? Would he say the same thing, or would there be a different philosophy then?
No, it'd be a little bit more to our game plan about how we're going to play. Pick your moment. It'd be like pick your moments to get forward. Don't just go like when we was at home. It'd be me and John Beresford going forward. Ginola, there'd be guests. We'd be all in their half doing it. It'd say pick the times. Pick the times to go forward. Make sure David Batty. Make sure you're just sitting there. If we're playing Arsenal away, Man United away, Liverpool away, them type of things, just make sure that we're sensible.
You're more solid, aren't you? You're more solid.
Yeah, you're more solid. You're more focused in about, just in case this happens, just in case. We're at home, it's like shackles off, we're going for it. And that's how we're going to play.
And that's how Arsenal got to be on Saturday, isn't it?
But do you expect them to, though, Lee? I know, Lee, earlier you said, I expect
I do.
2-0 up. Why? We haven't shown we can do it.
Because I think they've
I
got
don't
to.
expect it. I don't expect it. I think it's going to be a tougher game than 4-0 or 3-0 because we ain't scored a goal yet.
It's come to a situation. In my personal opinion, it's now or never. I know there's a great song about that, but I'm just saying, it is now or never for them. They have to do it.
But I think Arteta's mindset as well, is it? Arteta's mindset is about the beautiful game, and we keep it, we retain it, we play. I don't know whether he'll say in his changing room. I would think, Everton, he might have done it, but to say, right, forget about this. If it's not there, we keep it. We're going to play. I don't know whether Arteta has that mindset because Pep would never do it. Pep's never said to his teams, right, let's go guns blazing. It's like he's got a philosophy. This is how we're going to play. We're going to retain the ball. We're going to pass our way through it. If it happens in the first minute, great. If it happens in the 70th minute, whatever. But Arsenal's situation is totally different than what Man City and Pep's is. It is about,
and
forget about
Warren,
the game plan.
We haven't beaten teams 4-5-0 for a long time. Under Arteta, we haven't. That's for sure. Yeah. So I'm not expecting a 4-5-0, 2-0 up in 20 minutes. I'm expecting it to be. I'm expecting us to nick it. Because I haven't seen us win 4-5-0 for a long time, and Norwich are going to come at us. It's not going to be roll over Norwich at 6-0 and let's all go home happy. This is going to be a tough game. because the way we're playing. So I think we will nick it, and I think we'll take 3 points. But I don't think it's going to be a 4-5-0 easy game. I think it might be 2-0 tops if we're lucky, and that'll be like a real hard 2-0 fight. That's what I'm expecting. But I hope I'm wrong, mate. I hope you're right, Lee, and we absolutely hammer them, of course. But I don't think we're playing well enough, and I don't think Arteta's got that philosophy right yet, personally, to see it. So it'll be interesting with these players now that they're fit to see what we can do.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys think, but I think if it's 0-0 after 20 minutes, I think we're in for a torrid time.
Horrible, horrible.
I honestly think that we've got to be up within that 20 minutes. That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether it'll happen or not, but what I'm saying is we've got to, because I think if we're not, as I was saying, I'm panic stations for me.
Lee, one thing I will say about this game, this is a discovery game for Arsenal about the players. Because the pressure's on. Let me tell you, the pressure's on. Dan's right. Norwich ain't coming to roll over. They're going to come and they're going to sit tight and they're going to make things so difficult for Arsenal. They want the crowd to turn. And as you said, Lee, after 20 minutes, if you're not scored, then things are going to start getting spicy with the crowd. But that's where the big players tend to step up. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see. Keep going, Jamal. If he's back, come on. Let me hear another question.
We got a couple actually, KC. I'm going to bring it up because Peter on Par had sent in a couple in relation to the fans, and then Jamal is back. So Peter on Par has said, Arsenal were going through a tough period, but we will get through this. It will make the Arsenal fans' love for Arsenal even stronger. Talking about the fans and how we're going to be after 20 minutes, I think is very relevant to this one. And it's a nice segue into the question for Warren and KC. If you're at the Emirates on Saturday, what song request do you have in mind? Because I know a guy. Peter does know a guy indeed. But it's an interesting one, isn't it, Casey? We'll let you answer that and then I'll let you answer Jamal. Actually, we'll come to Warren on it and then we'll come to you, Casey. Because I think in terms of the fans being lifted, Warren, it don't matter what song we play. The team's got to perform, ain't they, to get the fans up. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's going to be really bad.
It's doing
his Elvis.
It's now or never. It's Elvis, boys. It's Elvis. It's now or never.
That
was a great impersonation. That was.
I love that. No, Warren, you got to keep the collars up now, mate. Go on.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this shirt off.
Oh, here we go. Go on. He's showing off his tan again, boys. He's showing his tan off again, isn't he?
Not bad.
There we go, Pete on pole.
Is it? Not bad on 58. Not bad.
You're doing well, Warren. It's looking good. Pete on pole. It's got to be that song, mate. It's got to be that song. It's now or never. And then we have Jamal, Casey. You're on, Casey. Arteta has signed 23 players, including new deals in his reign. What gives you the confidence, even with his full team, that Arteta can get a playing style, get goals, and look like scoring? And why was Saliba and Torreira loaned out? A lot of questions there. But he's going for you, Casey.
Jamal's getting, getting the value for money, isn't he?
And Jamal, I'll be honest with you. Confidence, I haven't got confidence. But I have to see it. It's no point getting the players if they're not going to be on the pitch trying to perform. That's the bottom line. Signing them and not playing, and then what do you expect? Players are bought to play. So I want to see them on the pitch. That's the key for me. I need to see the players on the pitch at least trying to perform. And then if it doesn't work out, then Arteta will be gone. Next 3 games is going to tell us so much about this Arteta squad, in my eyes. And Saliba and Torreira, by the way. Torreira never wanted to play for Arsenal in the end. Lastminute.com is saying, I want to stay at Arsenal when he didn't want to because he wouldn't even come back. Let's have it right. So that's that. Saliba is the problem. And here's my thinking of it. Saliba going back to France might have been because he'd lost a family member, etc. So pulls on the heartstrings. That one I get. So that's his decision to go back to France. But the competitor in me says, if I'm Saliba and I'm looking around the Arsenal dressing room, David Luiz is no longer there. You're looking at Chambers, you're looking at Holding, you're looking at Mari. If you back yourself, you do one of two things in my eyes. You either tell the manager, I'm staying because I'm better than them and I'll prove it. Or you go on loan. Rumour has it that Newcastle were interested. You go on loan where you're going to see him under pressure, where you're going to see him performing week in and week out until January. And then if he's doing the business or whatever, then you can bring him back. Because he's still a young man. I'm not saying he's not talented more than some of the others. Yeah, but we still want to see him performing in the Premier League, as far as I'm concerned.
Kev, it goes back to what we said earlier, though. How many of these young players actually want to be a success at Arsenal? Or is it like, you know what, it ain't working, I'll go somewhere else? Has that lost that star appeal to play for Arsenal, to be an Arsenal football player?
Well, for me, as I always say, Warren, I learned so much more about a player in the adverse times, the times where, okay, you're fourth choice. Are you gonna stick around? Do you know what? If I back myself, I'll stick around.
But that's what I'm saying. Players now, it's like, you know what? Arsenal, I'm going to get booed. I'm going to get a coach that may drop me. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to get on a flight and I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's the problem.
Warren,
that's coming along with players.
Warren, what I will say is on the flip side of that, guys, is what's happened to him personally.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that can have an influence on his decision to go back to France, where he's a lot more comfortable. He's going to be around family, etc. He's playing in a league that he knows. Him going back to France isn't going to tell us anything more than we already know. Saliba can play in France. We know that he's been on loan for the last 2 years there. What we need to see is him either getting a chance at Arsenal or him playing in the Premier League. And for me, if he played in the Premier League even for 6 months, then we know he goes straight into our team. But at the moment, obviously,
I think what's frustrating the fans is not just that he's 27 million and we've not seen him for 3 years, but it's that look at who we've got in his place. That's what's frustrating people. You know, when Rob Holding and Callum Chambers and Kolasinac are getting in the side and he's dropping Pablo Mari for Kolasinac, and you've got somebody who everyone's raving about, that is your player, by the way, and hasn't kicked a ball with you 3 years. That's what's frustrating fans. I think people just want to see him, KC. So you're bang on.
Yeah,
you're bang on.
I do too. Dan, I do too. And you know what? I wanted Saliba to stick it to Arteta and say, I'm staying or I'm going on loan in the Premier League. So could you imagine him playing well every week? What the hullabaloo would be? He's in France. He's out the way. Do you know what I mean? He's out the way in France. If he's in the Premier League, it's in the face of, let's get him back. You could imagine what the swell would be to get him in. So, you know, thanks, Jamal. Keep it coming anyway. I'm ready for you. Anything you want to bring at me, bring it on.
Well, Pete on polls just put one back in saying Jamal has spent the same as Arsenal's transfer window. Share it out, mate. I love that. That's a great super chat.
Where does this money go anyway? Where does all this money go to? Where does it go? Not to Lee.
On Lee Judge's wall, I think.
Is that a wall or is it a cupboard? I don't know. Is it a wall or a cupboard? What is it?
No.
There's a safe behind that. There's a safe behind that.
There's a safe behind now. Right. That's my Charlie Nicholas signed shirt there, Warren. Like, yeah.
You used to have Charlie. You used to have Charlie Schultz as well, didn't you? Charlie Schultz.
A bit tight though. I heard you got that shirt from him in the 80s, like that when he was wearing that in the 80s.
So let's go to
Charlie. Be happy with this.
Let's go for predictions, boys. Warren, what's your prediction for the game?
3-0 Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal.
I love you, Warren. I love you.
All in
any
the last 80
goal scorers?
Aubameyang 2.
Nice one. That'll do.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. How about you, Dan?
I'm I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal, but I do think it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
And I think that the scoreline is not going to reflect on how easy it's been for us. So I expect us to go 1-0 up, and then I think it will be one of those where we just can't get that second goal and then we get it last minute. And I expect Bukayo Saka to have a good game, get on the score sheet. And I'm with Warren. I think it's time for Aubameyang. So let's hope Aubameyang gets on the score sheet as well, man. I'll go 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, nice one. Lee, what about you, my man?
I'm going on with Warren like no 3-0 to the Arsenal and a Aubameyang hat-trick. That's what I'm going for, like, you know.
Oh,
you have been drinking. You have been drinking.
You know, let's see. And if that is the case, Barton, I want an apology, like, you know what I mean? Like,
who are you calling Barton? You?
You're out there in America, so you can't do nothing like that. I mean,
I'll come over to your little place and wring your little neck, you little rat.
Listen, I'm going 2-0.
You've got to catch me first. I'll tell you.
Yeah, oh jeez.
I tell you what, I promise you, if he gets a hat trick, you can have this shirt. I'll bring it to you. You'll have this shirt. It might be a bit tight.
He's trying to get rid of that. He's trying to get rid of that shirt. Isn't he?
It's my cup final shirt for 98.99.
I love it. Love
How'd you
it.
get on in that final?
We lost that one as well. It's another one. That's another story. That's the last time you was at a cup final, you lot.
Dan, guys, I'm going 2-0. I'm going Laka and Aubameyang to score. 2-0. We win.
All confident,
That's what
aren't
I'm
we?
going for.
Full house.
Yeah. I'm a full house. I'm full house.
Full house.
Full house.
Well, last. There we go.
But guys, listen. I've had a blast with you, but you know what, Lee? I can't take you, Dan, and that Warren Barton shirt anymore. So we're gonna call it a night. Thanks for everybody. I love it, Warren. He's dancing. He's dancing. It's alive. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody for hello. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody for joining us, guys. Really appreciate it on Lee Judges
thanks
TV.
for the chat and all that.
Thanks for the super chats as well. Thanks
Yes,
for the super
Jamal.
chats.
that's amazing.
Jamal,
And Jamal,
thanks for the money.
Jamal,
Give us your
I got
money,
to say
Jamal.
thank you very much. Really good questions. And I'll see you next week, Jamal, please. See you next week. All the best, everybody, and take good care. Bye.